Have you ever stood in front of the mirror at 3 in the morning and whispered to yourself, when did this face lose its way? A tired face, empty eyes, a heart that softly asks, how long have I been forgetting myself? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But today when we hear self-care, we think of spas, luxury vacations, expensive retreats, and then we sigh, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. Maybe I can't take care of myself. But that's not the truth. Real change doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from micro habits. One slow breath in the middle of 20 unread emails, a glass of warm water instead of that third cup of coffee. One quiet minute. Hand on your heart whispering, I am here. Tiny, almost invisible, easy to dismiss. But like drops of water carving stone, these small habits quietly reshape you. The Stoics knew this. They lived through wars, through sickness, through loss. And still they stayed steady. Not because of something big, but because of the little practices, repeated every day. Epictetus said, don't wish for life to happen as you want it. Wish instead to adapt to whatever happens. And that kind of strength starts with the smallest habits. Because self-care isn't only about adding more. Sometimes it's about letting go. Letting go of thoughts that weigh you down. Letting go of burdens that were never yours. Letting go of habits that drain your soul, late night scrolling, toxic conversations, endless comparisons. Picture your mind as a kitchen. If you never clean it, every dish will carry the smell of old grease. Self-care is cleaning that kitchen, not flashy, but essential. And here's the beautiful part, these habits cost nothing. Just a few minutes. And you can start today. In the morning, don't reach for your phone. Stretch for 30 seconds. At night, write down one thing you're grateful for. At lunch, step outside. Breathe deep 3 times. So small, yet slowly, your mind clears. Like tuning strings that have slipped out of pitch until the music comes back in harmony. Because you are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You just need to tune your strings with small, steady habits. And one day when you look back, you'll see it was the little things that saved you. So tonight before you sleep, try one thing. Hand on your heart. One deep breath. Whisper, I am coming back to myself. Tomorrow add one more. Next week, you'll have a whole new melody. And if these words resonate, hit subscribe so we can walk this path together, building 7 micro habits. Small, but powerful enough to change your whole life. Because no one else can tune the strings of your life but you. Habit number 1, the 2-minute morning mind sweep. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and within seconds your mind is already overflowing? Unpaid bills, unanswered emails, work waiting, family concerns, worries about tomorrow, and you wonder, why am I exhausted? Before the day has even begun. If that feels familiar, maybe it's time for a small habit. Tiny, really, but powerful enough to change how you live each day. The ancient Romans had a principle called reshape. Focus only on what's in your control. Today we can practice it with something simple, the morning mind sweep. Here's how. The moment you wake up, don't grab your phone. Sit quietly on your bed, set a timer for 2 minutes, and just observe. Every thought that rises, let it pass like clouds drifting across the sky. No judgment, no clinging, no pushing away. You don't have to reach perfect silence. You're simply noticing, like a gatekeeper quietly watching the guests walk by. You might think, what good is 2 minutes? But give it a week or two and you'll notice a shift. You'll begin to see the patterns in your mind. Maybe it's the same worries about money. Maybe family tension that keeps replaying. Maybe the unfinished project that never leaves your thoughts. And when you recognize those patterns, you gain power. You can pause. You can choose how to respond instead of being swept away. That's when clarity begins. You stay calmer in tough conversations. You snap less at the people you love. You work with more focus. And most of all, you learn to treat yourself with gentleness. And here's the beauty. This habit isn't only for mornings. You can sweep your mind anytime, stuck in traffic with your heart racing, standing in line for coffee instead of scrolling your phone, right before a tense meeting. 2 minutes. Inhale, exhale, observe, and give your mind the chance to reset. Picture your mind as a room. Every morning before you even step outside, the room is piled with papers, boxes, and clutter. You walk in and feel suffocated. The morning mind sweep is like opening a window, dusting the shelves, clearing just enough space. Not a full renovation, just 2 minutes to let in light air and the space to breathe. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "You have the power to face the day with a clean mind." He knew the world outside was chaotic. But if the very first moment belongs to disorder, the rest of the day rarely finds clarity. The goal isn't to erase negative thoughts, no one can. The goal is to notice and to choose. As Epictetus said, you cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. That's exactly what the morning mind sweep trains you to do. You don't need a massive overhaul to change your life. You just need 2 minutes each morning. 2 minutes to remember your mind belongs to you. It costs nothing. It requires no special tools, just you and your breath. Day by day, this tiny ritual lays a foundation for something bigger, a calmer mind, a steadier heart, a stronger self. So tomorrow morning, before diving into messages or emails, give yourself 2 minutes. Sit still. Breathe. Watch the clouds drift by in your head. Then open your eyes and step into the day with a clearer mind. And if this practice speaks to you, subscribe and join me. In the coming episodes, we'll explore 6 more micro habits, small steps that together can change the entire melody of your life. Remember, you don't need to control the whole world. You only need to begin by clearing the room inside your mind. Habit number 2, the silent pause ritual. Have you ever sent a message and instantly wished you could take it back, or spoken words you regretted? Only minutes later, we react too fast to emails, to arguments, even to the people we love most. And in the wake of those quick reactions, tension, misunderstanding, sometimes even hurt. But what if all it took was a pause? Just 3 breaths. The ancient Romans believed real strength wasn't in shouting battles, but in staying calm through the storm. Today I want to share a small practice. It's called the silent pause ritual. Here's how it works. Before you reply to an important email, before you respond to an angry text, before you open your mouth in a heated debate, pause. 3 breaths. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in again, and then speak. Why does this matter? Because modern life runs on speed. A message pops up, we answer instantly. An email lands, we fire back right away. Someone says something that stings, we snap. But it's that instant that costs us our clarity. We hand over our emotions. We let circumstances dictate our response. Epictetus once said, It's not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. That pause, those 3 breaths, become a sacred space, the space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your freedom. You may wonder, 3 breaths, can that really change anything? Try it. In 3 breaths, impulses soften, clarity steps in, you reclaim your energy, you reclaim your dignity, and people feel it, not because you say more, but because you choose the right moment to speak. In a noisy world, silence often carries more weight than 1,000 words. Think of music. If every note played without pause, it would be nothing but noise. But the rests, the silence, give the melody meaning. Life works the same way. The silent pause is the accent. It makes your next words stronger, sharper, more powerful. And you can practice it anywhere when a harsh email from your boss lands in your inbox, when your child bombards you with questions at the end of a long day, when a coworker challenges your idea in front of others. Instead of reacting right away, pause. 3 breaths. You'll see not every moment calls for a comeback. Sometimes calmness is what makes you most credible. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if you can speak, you can also remain silent. And sometimes, silence is the stronger choice. The silent pause is not weakness. It's mastery. Mastery of emotion. Mastery of energy. Mastery of dignity. When you pause, you don't give up your voice. You give it power. You give it reach. Life won't stop throwing messages, emails, arguments your way, but you can stop for 3 breaths. And in those breaths, you gift yourself something priceless, the freedom to choose, the strength to turn silence into power. You don't need to shout to be heard. You only need to know when to be silent and when to speak. So tomorrow, when that message makes your chest burn, pause, 3 breaths, then respond. You'll feel the difference. And with time, this small ritual will reshape you into someone calmer, clearer, and more grounded in every relationship. If this practice resonates with you, hit subscribe and join me. In the next episode, we'll explore habit number 3, another small step that can build an unshakable life. Remember, it's the silence that makes the music beautiful, and it's the pause that makes you powerful. Habit number 3, the energy audit moment. Have you ever looked at your phone and seen the battery at 5%? Instantly you panic. You plug it in right away because you know once the battery dies, you're cut off, disconnected, unable to do anything. But what about you? When was the last time you checked your own energy? Are you fully charged or running on empty? How many times have you walked into a meeting or a conversation and walked out feeling like someone just drained your battery? The ancient Romans had a word for this prosauche, paying attention to what is within your control. And today we can practice it through a simple ritual I call the energy audit moment. Here's how it works. At any point in the day, pause and ask yourself, right now, am I gaining energy or losing it? You can set a random reminder on your phone or anchor it to a routine like with your morning coffee, stepping out of the elevator, or right before bed. Your body always tells the truth. You just have to listen. Are your shoulders tight? Is your breath shallow? Does your chest feel heavy or light? Is your body open or curled inward? In just a few seconds of noticing, you'll know. Is this moment charging you up or draining you dry? Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Energy works the same way. Being energy rich doesn't mean adding more. It means removing what secretly drains you. So what if you realize you're losing energy? You have three choices. Change the situation. Close that social media app after 10 minutes of mindless scrolling. Change your response. Drop your shoulders, take a deep breath, and reframe that stressful meeting as practice in patience. Or walk away. Step out of the meaningless conversation. Step out of the relationship that only consumes you. The moment you choose one of these is the moment you reclaim power over your energy. But here's something important. Not all discomfort is bad. Some discomfort nourishes you, like exercise, learning a new skill, or pushing yourself to grow. Other discomfort only poisons you, like endless arguments, pointless comparisons, or holding on to resentment. The energy audit helps you see the difference. And once you see it, you can keep what strengthens you and release what destroys you. If you keep this habit for just a month, you'll notice profound changes. Your intuition sharpens. You'll catch the leak sooner, whether it's a habit, a place, or a person that drains you. You'll choose spaces and relationships that refill your tank. And the result? You'll be more present. You'll have energy for what truly matters: your loved ones, your dreams, your meaningful work. Think of yourself like a phone. If you never check the battery, if you ignore the apps running in the background, eventually you shut down. But if you check in daily, close the useless apps, and recharge at the right times, your energy will always be there to connect, to create, to live fully. You can't control everything in life, but you can audit your energy. Just by pausing, listening to your body, and asking, right now, am I charging or am I draining? It sounds simple, but that single question can change everything. It hands you back your freedom. It turns you from someone depleted into someone in control of their own power. So tomorrow, try it once. In the middle of your workday, ask yourself, is this feeding me or is it draining me? If it's feeding you, stay with it. If it's draining you, adjust, shift, or walk away. These small choices, repeated day after day, will build a life that's clearer, fuller, more alive. If this habit resonates with you, hit subscribe and join me. In the coming episodes, we'll explore more micro habits, tiny steps that can transform your entire life. Remember this, your phone needs to be recharged, and so do you. Habit number 4, the compassion reset. Breath. Have you noticed the harshest critic in your life is often yourself? One small mistake, one tiny slip, and instantly a voice inside whispers, "You're useless. Why would you do that?" How many times have you become your own worst enemy? How many times have you forgiven others with ease, but refused to forgive yourself? Plato once said, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." But here's the real question. When will you learn to be kind to yourself? There's a simple ritual. I call it the compassion reset breath. Here's how it works. Whenever you catch yourself in self-criticism, pause. Take a slow, deep, conscious breath and whisper to yourself, "I'm doing the best I can with what I know right now." You're not denying the mistake. You're not sugarcoating reality. You're simply reminding yourself you are human, and being human means being imperfect. The Stoics had a teaching called the second arrow. Pain, quacks, event, plus judgment. The mistake is just the first arrow, but when you stab yourself again with harsh judgment, you turn pain into a deeper wound. The compassion reset breath is your way of refusing the second arrow. You still acknowledge the mistake. You still learn from it, but you stop punishing yourself twice. And this isn't just philosophy, it's neuroscience. With every deep breath, your parasympathetic nervous system activates, your heart rate slows, your body softens, and with every kind word whispered inside, your brain releases oxytocin, the hormone of love and connection. Each breath of compassion is carving a new pathway in your brain, from criticism to gentleness, from judgment to growth. After just 2 weeks of practice, you'll hear the shift. That inner voice, once sharp and cruel, begins to soften. Instead of, "You're so stupid," it becomes, "This is hard, but I can learn." And once you grow kind to yourself, that kindness spills outward. You're more patient with colleagues, gentler with your children, more present in your relationships. And there's a beautiful side effect: you become more creative. Because when you're no longer paralyzed by fear of mistakes, you dare to try. You bounce back faster after failure. And even that inner critic, once an enemy, becomes a signal, a reminder to stop and breathe. Picture yourself as a guitar. Over time, the strings slip. The sound grows sharp, distorted, out of tune. The compassion. Reset breath is the gentle twist of a tuning peg. Not a brand new song, just one small adjustment. But suddenly, the music flows again. You don't have to be perfect to deserve love. You only need to practice kindness with yourself, even in your mistakes. One breath is enough to reset how you treat yourself. And when you change your inner voice, you change your entire life. So tomorrow, when that critical voice rises in your head, don't believe it right away. Pause. Take a deep breath. And remind yourself, I'm doing the best I can with what I know right now. If you try it, you'll feel the difference. Gentle, practical, but incredibly powerful. And if you want to keep walking this path with me, this journey through 7 micro habits that can change the way you live and love, hit subscribe. Remember, the world is already harsh enough. You don't need to turn yourself into an enemy too. Start instead with a single breath of compassion. Habit number 5. The one-line evening journal. How many times have you started a journal only to quit after a few days? Too long, too much pressure, too hard to make it sound good. And then the notebook just sits there in your drawer, a quiet reminder of something unfinished. But what if I told you this? Just one single line could create one of the most powerful habits to change how you see your life. Would you believe it? I call it the one-line evening journal. Before bed, write down one sentence. That's it. One thing that stood out from your day. It could be a small lesson you learned, a surprising moment of joy, or a feeling you finally noticed. For example, today, I said no and didn't feel guilty. Just a 10-minute walk cleared my head. One line only. Not long, not fancy. Even Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, kept a journal. His meditations was never meant to be published. It was private. Sometimes just a few lines each night, to remind himself how to live, how to face hardship, how to keep a steady mind in chaos. You don't need to be an emperor to keep a journal. You just need to be yourself. And one line each night is enough. The magic is in the simplicity. When you write one line, your mind is forced to choose the most important thing from your day. One moment, one meaning, one imprint. Each night, it's like carving a tiny mark into stone. At first, it seems invisible, but after weeks, months, a statue begins to appear. And that statue has your face. The one-line journal also helps you close the day with peace. Instead of lying in bed thinking I should have done more, or drowning in worry about tomorrow, you pause, you write one line, and you tell your mind Today I lived, and this is what I choose to keep. You fall asleep in peace instead of chaos. Keep it up for a few weeks and you'll notice. You'll see how much progress you've made. You'll spot repeating themes. Maybe you're slowly learning patience. Maybe you're getting better at setting boundaries. Maybe you're finding joy in small, ordinary things. One line each night, but together they become a mirror of your growth. Imagine this. Every evening you place one small brick inside the house of your inner life. At first it's just a fragile corner, but over time the wall rises strong. And soon, a whole home appears. A place where you can return rest and be fully yourself. The message is simple. You don't need to write pages to understand yourself. You don't need to wait for a vacation to reflect on your life. Just one line each night. One line to notice. One line to close the day. One line to grow. And day by day, you'll find you're no longer living fast, you're living deep. So tonight before bed, try it. Grab a piece of paper or open notes on your phone. Write one line what mattered most today. Then rest. Tomorrow add another line. And in just a few weeks, you'll see a journey unfolding. A journey of growth right before your eyes. If you'd like to keep exploring more micro habits, small steps, with the power to change your entire life, hit subscribe and join me. And remember, each night, you carve a small mark into the stone of your life. And one day, you'll look up and see the most beautiful statue of all, the truest version of you. Habit number 6. The Daily Done Declaration. Have you ever lain in bed at night, your mind still spinning with everything left undone, the unanswered emails, the unfinished project, the phone call that never wrapped up, and then comes the self-blame, why do I never do enough? But here's the question. When was the last time you gave yourself a moment to recognize what you did finish, no matter how small? Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, had an evening ritual. Each night, he paused to reflect. How did I live today? What did I do well? Where do I need to adjust? Not to punish himself, but to shine a light, to grow. In our modern world, we can turn that same principle into a simple practice. I call it the Daily Done Declaration. Here's how it works. Before bed, take 2 minutes. Remember 3 things you completed today, no matter how small. Maybe you answered a text from a friend who was hurting. Maybe you chose a healthy meal instead of fast food. Maybe you held the elevator door for a stranger, watered the plant on your balcony, or simply held back your anger when someone interrupted you. Tiny things, easily forgotten. But when you acknowledge them, you plant something vital, mindful satisfaction. Society trains us to always chase more, to look ahead, to feel not enough. That drive can push us forward, but it can also burn us out. The Daily Done Declaration doesn't ignore the unfinished. It just adds a new habit: recognition instead of criticism. You stop ending the day in scarcity. You end it in enough. Psychologists call this implementation momentum. When you acknowledge what's done, your brain releases dopamine. That spark of satisfaction fuels you into tomorrow. But when you only focus on what's missing, you slip into anxiety. You sleep poorly. You wake up already heavy, carrying yesterday's weight. Try it for a month. You'll notice the shift. You'll sleep deeper because your mind closes the day with a sense of wholeness. You'll wake with more energy because you know you're moving forward step by step. You'll feel more motivated because you see your own effort without waiting for anyone else's approval. Even your relationships will change because when you learn to recognize yourself, you begin to recognize the good in others. And you'll learn a vital truth. Finished is more important than perfect. Over time, the shift is subtle but profound. Instead of living in a constant race, you discover a quiet contentment. Instead of thinking meaning comes only from grand achievements, you see it in the ordinary: a healthy meal, a smile you offered, a conversation where you chose patience. Life isn't built only from mountaintops. It's woven from tiny threads, day after day. Picture this: each night when you name 3 things you've done, you carve 3 small marks into the statue of your life. At first, they look like nothing, but over years, the lines connect, and a clear shape emerges. The most beautiful version of you. The message is simple. You don't need to do everything to be worthy. You just need to start acknowledging what you already do. 2 minutes. That's all. But it can redirect your whole mind from anxiety to gratitude, from lack to enough. So tonight before you sleep, try it. Take a deep breath. Remember 3 things you finished today. Write them down or whisper them to yourself. Then close the day in peace. If you want to keep walking with me through these 7 micro habits, small steps powerful enough to reshape your whole life, hit subscribe and join me. And remember, life doesn't wait for you to be perfect. Life just asks you to show up and honor each small step you take. Habit number 7. Gratitude archaeology. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm grateful for my family, my health, my job"? You nod politely, but inside, you don't feel much. That's because generic gratitude often falls flat. It's like a poster on the wall. You see it, but it doesn't touch you. So what happens? If we dig deeper, if we search for something small, specific, real. In our modern world, gratitude is sometimes reduced to a hashtag, a slogan, a shiny declaration. But true gratitude doesn't live in the grand. It hides in the tiny details of everyday life. That's why I call this practice gratitude archaeology. The rule is simple. Don't list 3 big things. Choose one small thing, one specific moment. Maybe it's a cup of coffee made just right. Maybe it's the second you stepped aside and avoided a speeding car. Maybe it's a new leaf sprouting on your balcony plant, or the miracle of finding a parking spot when you were late. It may seem ordinary, but if you dig deeper, underneath lies treasure. Take that cup of coffee. It isn't just brown liquid in a mug. Behind it stands the farmer who tended the tree, the hands that roasted the beans, the barista who measured and poured with care. Your own senses, taste buds, and nervous system working in harmony, all of it converging into a single sip. Look closely enough, and nothing feels ordinary anymore. The Stoics called this the discipline of perception. See reality clearly. Leave nothing unnoticed. When you practice gratitude archaeology, you train your eyes to see more, not just the surface, but the web of connection beneath it. Soon, you become a treasure hunter in your own life, and science backs this up. Each time you feel gratitude for a specific moment, your brain forms new connections. Neuroplasticity. What you repeat becomes the path your mind walks most often. After 2 weeks, you'll start noticing good things as they happen. You'll smile when sunlight filters through your window. You'll quietly thank a stranger who holds the door. And when you live with that lens, you'll notice. You grow more patient, less hijacked by petty irritations. You grow more generous because you see how much you've already received. You grow more connected because you notice the effort and presence of others. And most important, when hardship strikes, you don't collapse into scarcity. You meet it from a place of abundance. Picture each day as a vast stretch of sand. At first glance, just grains, flat, dull, forgettable. But if you dig with patience, you'll find gems, a pearl, a shard of gold. That's what gratitude archaeology is. You become a treasure hunter, not in some distant land, but right here in the fabric of your daily life. The message is simple. Gratitude isn't about long lists of big things. It's the art of looking deeply into the small and finding a whole universe inside. When you change the way you look, you'll realize no day is ordinary. Every day holds a hidden treasure waiting for you to uncover it. So tonight before bed, try this. Pick one moment from today, just one. Dig deeper, trace it back, and write it down. Tomorrow, choose another, and slowly you'll see life has never been short of things to be grateful for. If you want to keep walking with me through these micro habits, small, steady steps that can reshape how you live, hit subscribe and join the journey. And remember, life doesn't only belong to those who conquer mountaintops. Life belongs to those who know how to find treasure right beneath their feet. There's an old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Have you ever wished, if only I had started earlier, if only I had learned this when I was young? But the truth is, no if only matters more than the moment you're living today. Now, imagine this. In just 30 days, your life begins to shift, not because of some dramatic breakthrough, but because of micro habits, tiny, simple, consistent. Your mornings feel calmer, with 2 minutes of clearing your mind. You no longer begin the day in chaos, but in clarity. Throughout the day, you discover abundance through gratitude archaeology, a cup of coffee, a smile, a ray of sunlight. Each becomes a hidden treasure. Your energy feels steadier when you pause for an energy audit. You know when you're being recharged and when you need to stop before you're drained. Your inner world softens with a compassion reset breath. Each time the critic inside your head speaks, you don't let it cut deeper. You let it remind you to breathe, to be gentle with yourself. And at night you close the day with peace through a daily done declaration. You no longer fall asleep in regret, but in a quiet sense of fullness. One small habit may feel like a single drop, but together they become a river. They flow. They reinforce each other. When you start the day with clarity, you notice more to be grateful for. When you feel grateful, you protect your energy more wisely. When your energy is steady, you have the strength to be kind to yourself. And when you're kind to yourself, you can finally honor what you've already done. Slowly, you no longer chase validation from others. You feel your worth from within, a steady foundation, a peaceful confidence. And if you stay with it, in just 6 months, others will notice. They'll see you calmer in the middle of stress. They'll sense your energy gentle yet powerful. They'll feel your presence listening, grateful, cherishing the small. And you'll notice too. You didn't become someone entirely new. You simply uncovered who you truly are. The self that's always been there, hidden under rush, judgment, and forgetfulness. The key isn't doing everything at once. The key is beginning. One breath, one line on paper, one moment of gratitude, one small declaration before bed. These things may not be perfect, but practiced consistently, they're stronger than any perfect effort abandoned halfway. Remember, every mighty tree began as a seed, and the best day to plant that seed is today. So tonight, try just one small habit. Only one. Write down 3 things you finished, or close your eyes. Take a deep, compassionate breath, just for yourself. Tomorrow, add 1 more, and slowly, you'll see your life change. Not because you're chasing something new, but because you're finally coming home to yourself. If you'd like to keep walking this journey with me, hit subscribe. We'll go even deeper together so that every single day becomes proof that happiness isn't somewhere far away. It's here in the small habits you practice daily. Remember this. You don't need to become someone else. You only need to return to who you already are. And that journey begins now.